Sunday, June 8th. This evening we were all out front waiting for Papa to come home. Mama sat in the swing holding Lena while Willie drew a man on the swept path. It was Papa, he said. I watered the trumpet vine that covers the trellis over our front gate. If only I could water the whole cornfield. The corn is usually 3 feet tall by now with several ears on every stalk, but this year it has withered. The cows will have to go without grain and we will probably run out of cornmeal. Then I heard a horse coming. I straightened up and watched the place where the road emerges from the trees. There came Papa, trotting along wearing his black hat and dark blue coat. Even in such heat, I flung open the gate and ran to meet him with Max at my side. Papa dismounted and opened his arms. I threw myself into them and could feel Max's paws on my side as he leaped about, yelping for joy. Willie ran towards us on his short little legs. Papa picked him up and held him close. Want to ride Buckophilius to the house? Ja, Willie squealed, Buffus. Papa put him in the saddle, then he waved to Mama. What happened at the meeting? I asked. He shook his head. Later, Sophie, I don't want to talk about it now. Are you mad at us, Papa? Willie asked. Nien, Willie, I'm thirsty. I just want to sit on the gallery and drink some cool water. I'll get it for you, Papa. I ran to the house, got the tin pitcher, and went out to the well. After drawing water, I returned to Papa. He drank a full glass without stopping and held it out for me. Almost as good as wine, but not quite, he said. While Papa played with Willie and Lena, Mama and I set supper on the table. Cottage cheese, coleslaw, tomatoes, sausage, cornbread with butter, and honey cakes I baked especially for him. By the time Mama put Lena to bed, we sat down at the table. It was growing dark. Light from the oil lamp shone on our faces and made the wine in our glasses sparkle like liquid rubies. It seemed as if we were a little island of light where the war could not reach us. But after supper it did. I brought it on by asking Papa about the meeting. He said nothing for a moment, and I could see that he was struggling to find the right words. He set the wine glass on the table. Very well. I will tell you because you need to know. All of you. At the meeting we organized 3 companies. If necessary, if the Confederates try to make us join their forces, we'll fight. There was a stunned silence. It was Mama who shattered it. Frederick, you were such a child. We could forget the war if only you would resign yourself. I'm afraid that is no longer true, Elizabeth. No one can forget the war. We are all going to have to fight on one side or another. Nien, said Willie, no fighting. Unfortunately, Willie, Papa said I have only 2 choices. Fight for the Union or fight for the Confederacy. Willie's lower lip was beginning to pucker. I motioned for him to come sit in my lap, and he did. Henrique Steve said there are another choice, I said. Papa turned to me. I remember that, Sophie, but I could not go to Mexico to hide. I would go to join the Union forces and fight. President Lincoln is calling for 300,000 men to enlist. Mama stood abruptly and looked at him with her hard blue eyes. Could not, would not, she mocked. We had to leave Dresden because of all your could not, would nots. Now it's happening once again. She turned and rushed into their room. Willie climbed down from my lap and ran after her. Papa propped his elbows on the table and put his face in his hands. What could I say to him that would help? Finally, I said, Why are there no good choices, Papa? He looked up at me with sad eyes. That is the way of war, Sophie. He put his hands on the table and pushed himself up. Now I must try to make peace. He walked to the door of the room and stood there a moment. Elizabeth, he answered. No answer. No fighting, Papa said. While Willie came running to him and hugged his legs. Now it is late, and I sit writing. Mama is playing a Chopin Nocturne, my favorite one, in E-flat. I got up, walked through Papa's studio, and crept down to the landing. Mama had taken down her hair, and Papa stood behind her as she played, his hands resting on her shoulders. I did not know whether Papa meant no fighting in our strange war or no fighting against the Confederates, but I did know, for the moment at least, he had made peace.